Hello everyone and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name is Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform, and today I've got with me
Craig McCarthy, development manager of SwiftCase.
And Phil would be developer of SwiftCase.
It's a post-lunch podcast, so
Yeah,
everyone is very happy while we're recording this episode, which we're going to take it down in a bit of negativity as we're talking about a new series that we're going to do on our podcast, which is how technology appears in film and TV. So today's episode is actually going to be about Black Mirror, which has recently returned for season 5 to Netflix. We won't be putting any spoilers, or we'll try not to put any spoilers about season 5.
But we will be discussing.
But just a warning that if you haven't watched any of the series, or you're currently working your way through Black Mirror,
we're going to ruin it.
We are going to ruin it for you, and we wouldn't want to ruin such a great series of series.
If you haven't seen it, it's worth checking.
If you've seen the first 4 series, then it's worth checking. If you haven't seen the first 4 series, it's worth checking out. Series 5 we'll come on to in a minute, I think. But just a big sort of spoiler warning in advance, so we don't get negative comments down below. Any positive comments you want to make, then please feel free to drop them throughout the show.
Well, when it comes to Black Mirror, it's something that I started watching a few years ago. In fact, it was on Channel 4 first, rather than... It's not a Netflix thing, really. I think they just purchased the rights for it. Right, yeah. And the first series, I thought, was really groundbreaking, because it's unlike anything you'd really ever seen on telly before. And I was... the fact that it was Charlie Brooker as well, so at the end I was like, oh wow, that's amazing.
That had a lot to do with that, I think.
But the episodes are so varied. I mean, the one that probably sticks out in my mind, in the first series at least, is that one where they're living in like the app world, where like everything was, you got to spend your credits. And I thought, at first when I watched that, I thought it was quite heavy-handed. It was kind of like bashing it over your head about, this is what...
It was like X Factor, wasn't it? And stuff like
that. But it was really...
It was very obvious, wasn't it?
It was having to go with microtransactions, like the X Factor thing and stuff like that. So that was my initial impression about Black Mirror, because especially working in like tech and things like that, I thought, it's all quite overly negative. Really, it's not really dealing too much with the positives. But I think it does bring up some like valuable points, really, especially like with that one with the microtransactions and things, where it's literally exploiting people, really.
Well, it sort of showed that people will do anything for a small incremental, because I think it was really more based on things like Farmville and all those things,
exactly.
Or like Bejeweled and like all those games that people had just suddenly discovered that, or at least app developers had discovered, that people would literally do the most relentlessly repetitive and boring thing with gusto.
The grind, isn't it?
If the kind of rewards
are there,
were just right, were just frequent enough, and just small enough for them not to matter to the app maker, but big enough for the person to care. It was like that sweet spot had been hit, and they thought they'd kind of hit a gold mine. And I don't know whether that is happening now, whether it's changed. I think loot boxes and things like that are the de facto thing now, aren't they? And skins and stuff like that.
Yeah. But nowadays, it's not even that, is it? It's moved on to it's actually social media. So social media has been geared up, and one of the episodes in one of the later series of Black Mirror, which is actually really season 5.
That's the other one that comes to mind when I think about.
No, not that one. I'm talking about season 5. So Phil, I want to be careful because I know Phil hasn't seen this episode yet, but certainly about how social media is so addictive that it steals your attention, and that actually they're built to be addictive on purpose. So the idea that you're spinning like you swipe through your thing, it is the one-arm bandit, isn't it, with the flashy they've not done it so you do that and like it just jumps to the next screen. You see it scrolling, you see like animation, you see the flashy lights and notifications. It's designed to be addictive. It's designed to make you want to be always on there.
And even the red notifications are designed so that you will feel compelled.
Also, I suppose the way it treats huge news events as well. Like it just comes up in a notification, and you go, "Oh my God, isn't that dreadful?"
Yeah.
And then you just go on with your day. Yeah. Like, oh, that's bad, and then you just instantly dismiss it.
Yeah.
But going back to the episode, I think you were talking about, was that more like the thing which has actually now become true in China? Is this where people could give each other likes and credit and share and basically in the episode people could give praise to other people or even take off praise, which was sort of the controversial approach. So that effectively the woman in the episode goes from being fairly say middle class,
and just due to a series of unrelated events sort of thing, it just spiraled out of control. And then it was just a bad day.
But then is that a reflection of technology? This is the key issue, I think. It's like, are they really talking about technology, or are they really talking about how social interaction itself and status is just as sort of like tenuous and like easily destroyed? But social media just exposes that reality.
Yeah, social media opens it up.
It dials it up, doesn't it? Really?
Doesn't it? You know, everyone like if you bump into someone, if you're rude to someone, like only they know about it. You're rude to someone and they post it online.
That's why it's apocalyptic.
Everyone knows about it, and then that's where things can go rapidly downhill very
people
fast.
Lose their jobs,
I suppose it's the idea as well, isn't it? Of what it never really goes away. Either now online, like in the past, we've discussed it before, haven't we, with social media, where if you've done something embarrassing, it's a lot more difficult to scrub away from history than it used to be.
Well, actually, there's an episode about which I thought was quite good, was where the guy was blackmailed, all these people were being blackmailed based on their browsing history.
Oh yeah, and that was a fantastic episode.
That was a good episode.
I saw a video recently which I found personally hilarious, where it's a guy sitting on a branch and his friend's like waggling the branch to make him uncomfortable, and so he goes to jump off, but his trousers get caught and his trousers get completely ripped off, and he's now spinning upside down, completely naked. And I was like, that guy, that is it forever.
He's known as that man
forever. And I'm sure not something as bad as that has happened to me. Something equivalent that could have gone viral on the internet has happened to me like several times as a kid or a teenager. That if someone made video, that would have been it. I'd be talking now about it, like with probably like deep traumatic
therapist.
Yeah, exactly. Rather than podcast. But I think that's what the Black Mirror is really about, is that reality that younger people are living in and have to face, and it's kind of
the name of the program is that it's holding up a mirror of the dark reality of technology that's currently is already here. Some of it, sometimes he goes a bit into the future. Other times it is just now. And like I said, the thing about the likes, China's actually implementing a social currency about how people can monitor each other about whether they're good or not.
They can't leave the country, right? If they have certain restrictions. If you don't
there's like restrictions about what you can do based on the rating you've got for your
sometimes it predicts the future as well, doesn't it? And that's the scary part. It's like the whole, whenever the Simpsons seem to predict anything, that seems to come through as well. But
are you thinking about the one of the first episode seasons with the politician and the
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
But has there been any others?
I'm sure there's been something.
Trump was definitely predicted, wasn't it? Like the idea that certainly that people could be persuaded that something fake news, the way that people can be persuaded that some reality existed that didn't exist, based on the fact that just what was portrayed on the media, or even the way he's got. I suppose he was preempting it with the way he has the vision things where he overlays things over people's vision.
Right.
And the way that the virtual politician wasn't.
What's his name? It was H, wasn't it? Like Habbo or.
Yeah, it's like isn't it a blue cartoon character?
A blue cartoon character took part in. Now, obviously, that hasn't happened. But the way that equivalent, like online politicians have grown online and taken over through influencing people via technology, whether it's the idea of I don't know, the Brexit party, a party that came about in a seemingly a few weeks just because it's a strong online presence, or the way that information can be manipulated online to say one thing that just isn't true.
To make another, just like in that episode where they overlaid monsters onto refugees. I mean, that's literally what's happened, isn't it?
That's what's happened. It's not happened with the technology, but it's happened in the
perception management.
Yeah, exactly. So there are things that he's recognised like that maybe the way he's portrayed it is not the actual reality, but it's the concept has certainly come true since he's identified that as being a particular issue. And that is a scary thing, that actually what do you believe now if all you believe is what's online? and there's the idea of like you haven't got like you used to have the professional journalist. Obviously, there's people can take issue with whether professional journalism was only just taking the case forward of whatever professional journalists' agendas were, and now we've got these more people. It's more open, and more people can put on their own ideas and so on. But at the same time, it's so open to, you've got bot armies and whatever else where things can be amplified and theories can be amplified across social media that just aren't true.
And also people who are unscrupulous and cynical will actively take polarising viewpoints because that leads to a larger number of engagements and hits. So like, which kind of Trump does as well, which is just, use sound bites or info wars. They use sound bites that are deliberately extreme, inflammatory, and it has nothing to do with their belief. They're just literally trying to sell the brain pills, whatever they're trying to sell. And that's scary. And it that plot is effectively a Black Mirror plot, isn't it?
Because sometimes things happen and you go, oh, that's Black Mirror, that is. It's weird that it's become this cultural phenomenon, really. And it's taken on its own kind of thing, hasn't it?
So is it always overwhelmingly negative though?
No.
Is there some?
There's a couple of San Junipero. I thought that was actually, I think it won awards as well because it was fantastic. Really. I mean, it's the idea, isn't it, that you can kind of live on together.
So it's a technological heaven, isn't it?
It was the good side of technology, wasn't it? Like facilitating like people to have a better experience, and effectively it was a technological heaven.
Do you think something like that, like we were talking about Minecraft, and to a certain extent Fortnite, and although they had like Second Life, and so I'm for a lot of people, I remember reading articles about people who are disabled, who have house ridden. Actually, it is like San Junipero for them. So even though it's not like, okay, they've died and then they've been uploaded, it effectively creates this kind of utopian opportunity. And I'm wondering whether like that's so. First, when you said about it doesn't really exist because people just die and they don't get uploaded, but actually it does exist in some way, and as a kind of alternative utopia that's kind of like heaven. I suppose one day we might get to the argument about like it won't be assisted dying, it'll be assisted uploading. Because like that there will be the issue that people will want to take this virtual life over the real life, and people do already, don't you? You got the South Park episode, this and not to do with technology, where they're sat there for days and days and days playing World of Warcraft, because they'd rather live in that world because that's a better world than the world they're existing in. And I think that's where San Junipero, is that right? San Junipero gets it right. It's providing a world that is better. So the technological world is more positive than the reality of the woman who's in the nursing home or whatever, and at the end of her life. The key is that it's indistinguishable. On a sort of like that's where we're
that's the leap, isn't it? The VR of it. Well, it's not even VR, is it? It's actually your mind. And also to some extent, I can't remember the exact details of the technology, because sometimes he has it where your mind's been uploaded, and other times it's you. Well, more the kind of a William Gibson Neuromancer Matrix type approach.
Well, there was that episode where on the flip side, I suppose, again the negative, but this isn't so much uploading your consciousness. It's that episode where the guy's in a car crash, and his girlfriend orders the robot version of him, and all that does is, rather than it being his brain uploaded, it's all his social media posts. So it's another example, isn't it? Are we putting too much out there as well? If you
not enough, because you want you might want a more faithful replica of yourself,
because is your social media like
a true reflection
of your life? Or is it a moderated one?
Oh, it's absolutely a moderated one.
At the end of the day, I think it probably depends on your belief. Like if you're more liberal, you might be less.
I don't know. There's still probably things that people believe.
Still projection,
people drunk. It would be better taking people's drunk tweets that might be more of their true
I
conscience.
don't think you get every side of everyone, do you? Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we've all got emotions and we don't
internals.
So maybe it should be a private browsing history, private messages, and everything that you've done, and your social media stuff.
I think that was the implication in the episode, actually, that they got everything off it.
Yeah. I think I'd be willing to do that. If it meant my wife could get back, I think that's a good thing to think about. I think it's sort of like worth thinking about.
Me and my girlfriend had a discussion about that because the guy in it is Ginger.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I was like, would you do this if I...
Well, if you look like him. And had your personality,
So I think overall though, Black Mirror definitely does take a negative view of technology.
Does,
Or is it a negative view of current society? Pessimistic about.
You know, I think, like you said before, I suppose current technology only amplifies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, technology only really
like a loud halo,
enables people to do what people are doing anyway, doesn't it? It just enables you to do it faster. And you know, with a greater spread.
Well, I think you're both spot on because the Black Mirror itself the title has a double meaning, really, doesn't it? It's like you were saying before. It's kind of like it's the dark, the other side, but then at the same time, I think what Charlie Brooker said was
like a phone.
It's a phone screen that's off, and so it's the idea, isn't it? It's technology and society.
But I was just thinking, it's like Machiavelli. You know, when he published The Prince or whatever, people were probably talking about that book the way we're talking about technology.
Oh yeah,
you know, so
human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, like so. You know, people have always been manipulating and perception, control, and all that sort of thing for hundreds of years.
It's certainly a very good series. I only caught up with it when it first came on Netflix. I didn't see it on Channel 4, and I watched all 4 series, like sort of straight through.
If you haven't seen it,
definitely worth checking out. I haven't been just for Charlie Brooker. I'm sure you listened to our podcast. Wasn't impressed with the first 2 episodes of season 5, but the last episode, especially the 9 Inch Nails cover, brought me back on side with you.
Okay, I'll have to watch that then.
So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, our discussion about how technology is viewed in TV and film, and this episode being Black Mirror. So if you've got any Black Mirror related comments or any technology related comments about how it appears in TV and film, and what you think we should, which TV or film you think we should cover next, please drop that below in the comments.
And check out what we do at swiftcase.co.uk, and if you want to send us some Black Mirror memes, then social media is probably the best way to go. At SwiftCase UK.
But don't forget to subscribe to see more and keep up with the series.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time on the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast.